Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, the one interview fans keep rewatching. The cameras were rolling. The lights were bright. The questions looked harmless. And yet, somehow, years later, fans were still going back to that interview. Not because someone made a shocking confession. Not because either Wang Yibo or Xiao Zhan revealed some enormous secret. It was something much smaller. A pause. A glance. A smile that appeared at exactly the wrong moment. A question that seemed ordinary until the two of them suddenly became noticeably careful with their answers. That was the moment everything changed. The interview was supposed to be another promotional appearance connected to the Untamed, the drama that had already turned Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan into one of the most talked-about screen pairings of its generation. Official footage from the period shows the two appearing together in interviews and fan meeting content, while fans have continued discussing and revisiting those old appearances. Years later. But there was one interview fans couldn't seem to leave alone. They watched it once. Then twice. Then again with subtitles. Then again in slow motion. Then someone uploaded a reaction. Then another person analyzed every expression. And suddenly, an ordinary interview became something fans treated like a mystery. What exactly happened between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan in those few minutes? Nobody could agree. And that disagreement was precisely what made the clip impossible to forget. The interviewer smiled. "Let's talk about your relationship." For a split second, the atmosphere changed. Xiao Zhan looked forward. Wang Yibo looked down. The interviewer continued. "You've worked together for a long time. What do you think makes your partnership special?" Xiao Zhan laughed softly. "Partnership?" Wang Yibo raised his head. Their eyes met. It lasted barely a second. But that second became the part fans replayed. Again. 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 Because Xiao Zhan didn't immediately answer. And Wang Yibo didn't either. There was a strange silence. Not an uncomfortable silence. Something else. The kind of silence where two people appear to understand what the other person is thinking without needing to say it. Then Xiao Zhan smiled. "You should ask him." The interviewer turned toward Wang Yibo. Wang Yibo leaned back. "I don't know." The audience laughed. Xiao Zhan laughed too. But then Wang Yibo added quietly, "We understand each other." And suddenly the room became louder. Fans screamed. The interviewer smiled. Xiao Zhan looked at Wang Yibo again. This time, he shook his head as though he already knew exactly what Wang Yibo was going to say. "That's too simple," Xiao Zhan said. Wang Yibo smiled. "Isn't it true?" And that was the line. The line fans would later turn into an entire conversation. Because what did "we understand each other" actually mean? Was it simply professional chemistry? Was it friendship? Was it the familiarity of two actors who had spent months working together? Or was it something fans were never supposed to interpret beyond what was actually said? That question became the mystery. And the more people watched the interview, the more complicated it became. Because there was another moment. A moment that almost nobody noticed the first time. The interviewer asked Xiao Zhan what he had learned from Wang Yibo. Xiao Zhan thought for a while. "He's very determined." Wang Yibo looked surprised. "Me?" Xiao Zhan nodded. "Yes. You look quiet, but once you've decided something, you don't easily change your mind." Wang Yibo smiled. "And you talk too much." The entire room erupted. Xiao Zhan stared at him. "Excuse me." Wang Yibo laughed. "You asked." "I didn't ask you to insult me. I'm telling the truth." That exchange was funny. Completely harmless. But then Xiao Zhan laughed in a way that made the audience laugh even harder. And suddenly the interview had transformed. It no longer felt like two actors sitting beside each other answering promotional questions. It felt spontaneous. Unrehearsed. Messy. Real. And that was exactly why fans loved it. There was no perfect celebrity script. No carefully constructed answer. No dramatic revelation. Just two people teasing each other. And sometimes, that is far more powerful than a confession. Because fans weren't only watching what they said. They were watching what happened between the words. The interviewer tried another question. If you had to describe each other using one word, what would it be? Xiao Zhan immediately looked toward Wang Yibo. Wang Yibo looked away. The audience laughed. Why are you looking at him? The interviewer asked. Xiao Zhan smiled. I'm thinking. Wang Yibo interrupted. He's always thinking. Xiao Zhan pointed at him. See? This is what I mean. More laughter. But eventually Xiao Zhan answered. Reliable. Wang Yibo's expression changed. Only slightly. He looked at Xiao Zhan. Reliable. Xiao Zhan nodded. Yes. Then came the question nobody expected. And you? Wang Yibo remained silent. He looked at Xiao Zhan. Then at the interviewer. Then back at Xiao Zhan. Same. The interviewer laughed. That's all. Wang Yibo shrugged. Yes. Xiao Zhan smiled. And that was it. No explosion. No scandal. No secret confession. Nothing that would make the evening news. Yet fans remembered it. Years later, people still circulated clips from their old interviews and behind-the-scenes appearances. Some fans specifically describe their early interactions as effortless and memorable, while others continue searching for old footage from the Untamed era. That is what makes this story so fascinating. The internet often expects something enormous to explain why a moment becomes iconic. But sometimes the opposite is true. The moment becomes iconic precisely because nothing definitive happened. There was room for interpretation. There was space for imagination. And fans filled that space with theories. One fan would say, they were simply comfortable around each other. Another would respond, look at the way they looked at each other. Someone else would say, you're reading too much into it. Then another person would upload the clip again. Watch from 117. And suddenly thousands of people were staring at 1 second of footage. 1 second. That's all it took. One glance. One smile. One unfinished sentence. One tiny reaction that might have meant absolutely nothing. Or might have meant something completely different. And that ambiguity became the fuel. But here's where the fictional story takes a darker turn. Imagine the interview had continued. Imagine the interviewer decided not to move on. Imagine the next question was, do you think you'll work together again? The room became quiet. Xiao Zhan looked at Wang Yibo. Wang Yibo looked down. Then he said, if the opportunity comes. The interviewer smiled. Would you want it? Silence. Xiao Zhan laughed nervously. That's a dangerous question. The interviewer laughed. Why? Xiao Zhan looked toward Wang Yibo. Because he doesn't like answering questions. Wang Yibo smiled. That's not true. Then answer. Wang Yibo looked directly at him. I would. Xiao Zhan stopped smiling. Not dramatically. Just for a moment. The interviewer noticed. The cameras noticed. And in this fictional version of the story, that tiny pause became the moment everyone remembered. Because Wang Yibo hadn't said it loudly. He hadn't made a dramatic speech. He simply said, I would. 2 words. But the room suddenly felt different. The interviewer leaned forward. Why? Wang Yibo didn't answer immediately. Xiao Zhan looked at him. And then Wang Yibo said, because some experiences are difficult to replace. Silence. The audience exploded. Xiao Zhan laughed and covered his face. Why would you say that? Wang Yibo shrugged. It's true. And suddenly the interview wasn't an interview anymore. It was a moment. A moment that could be clipped, edited, reposted, analyzed, and misunderstood. Because that is the danger of moments involving famous people. A simple sentence can become 10 different stories depending on who is watching. For one person, some experiences are difficult to replace might simply mean working on a successful drama. For another, it might sound deeply personal. For someone else, it might simply be a young actor remembering a major period in his career. And the truth? Only the people who were actually there would know exactly what they meant. That is something fans sometimes forget. The audience sees the camera. They don't see everything outside the frame. They don't hear every private conversation. They don't know what happens when the lights go off. They don't know what two people genuinely think about each other. They only see moments. And moments can be powerful. Especially when two people already have enormous on-screen chemistry. The Untamed created a cultural phenomenon around its cast, and Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan became especially prominent figures in discussions surrounding the series. Official Tencent footage from 2019 preserves one of their joint interviews, while WeTV also has archived interview material from the Untamed fan meeting period. But the most fascinating part isn't what the interview supposedly revealed. It's why people keep coming back. Because rewatching an old interview can feel like opening an old photograph. You already know what happens. You already know the ending. But you watch anyway. You search for details you missed. You notice the expression behind the smile. The person who looked away. The person who laughed. The person who became suddenly quiet. And every rewatch creates a new interpretation. That's why the interview became almost legendary among sections of the fandom. Not because it proved a secret. It didn't. Not because it confirmed rumors. It didn't. But because it captured something audiences found compelling. Comfort. Timing. Humor. Familiarity. Two personalities bouncing off each other. Xiao Zhan often appeared more expressive and conversational. Wang Yibo could be quieter, more restrained, sometimes delivering short answers that became funny precisely because of how direct they were. That contrast created its own entertainment. And fans noticed. One old fan discussion described their interactions as clicking effortlessly, while another recalled how Xiao Zhan reacted to Wang Yibo's tendency to talk his ears off. That is the real secret behind the rewatch. Not necessarily romance. Not necessarily hidden meaning. Chemistry. Human chemistry. The kind that doesn't need to be forced. The kind that makes an interview feel less like an interview and more like two people accidentally forgetting that thousands of people are watching them. And then came the question that changed the mood. What's something you remember most about working together? Xiao Zhan answered first. The difficult days. Wang Yibo looked at him. Xiao Zhan continued. Because there were so many. The room laughed. Then Wang Yibo said. But we finished. Xiao Zhan nodded. Yes. Another pause. Then Xiao Zhan smiled. And we survived. Everyone laughed. But Wang Yibo didn't laugh immediately. He looked at Xiao Zhan. Then he smiled. Yes. That single word felt strangely heavy. Because suddenly the interview wasn't about popularity. It wasn't about fans. It wasn't about rankings. It wasn't about the drama. It was about memory. Two actors looking backward at a period of their lives that had already passed. And perhaps that is why people still return to these old videos. Because time changes everything. Actors grow. Careers evolve. Audiences move on. New dramas arrive. New interviews appear. But old footage stays frozen. The smiles remain exactly where they were. The laughter never gets older. The awkward pauses never disappear. The people in the video remain trapped in that particular moment. And fans can return whenever they want. Press play. And suddenly they're back. Back to that era. Back to the costumes. Back to the music. Back to the excitement. Back to the two actors who made millions of viewers believe in the world of the Untamed. And perhaps that is the real reason the interview keeps being replayed. It isn't because fans are trying to discover something that isn't there. Sometimes they're simply trying to feel something they remember. But now imagine something else. Imagine the interviewer suddenly turned serious. I have one final question. Both actors looked toward her. What do you think people misunderstand about the two of you? The room became quiet. Xiao Zhan smiled. Everything. The audience laughed. The interviewer shook her head. No, seriously. Xiao Zhan looked down. For the first time, he seemed to search carefully for the right words. Wang Yibo remained silent. Finally Xiao Zhan said. People see what they want to see. The laughter disappeared. The interviewer nodded. And what do you want them to see? Xiao Zhan looked at Wang Yibo. Then he looked at the camera. That we worked hard. Wang Yibo nodded. That's enough. And suddenly the entire atmosphere changed. Because beneath all the jokes, theories, edits and endless replays was something fans sometimes overlooked. Two young actors had worked incredibly hard on something that became enormously important to their careers. They were performers. They were colleagues. They shared a project that audiences became deeply attached to. And the emotional connection viewers felt toward their characters could easily spill into how viewers interpreted their real-life interactions. That's where the line between fiction and reality becomes dangerous. A drama creates characters. Actors portray them. Fans become emotionally attached. Then interviews appear. And suddenly the actors themselves become part of the fantasy. But actors are people. Their private lives belong to them. Their friendships belong to them. Their boundaries belong to them. So the most responsible way to look at that famous interview